Hi, friends. Welcome back to the POD podcast by Gulshan. And today we have my nephew. He's my cousin's son, and his name is Kurush Khodaiji. And you must be wondering now why she got her nephew on this show, but you'll figure out why. So, Kurush, first of all, thank you for being here. I know you've traveled all the way from India. And
My pleasure. In fact, we had so much fun. Yeah.
so, the reason why Kurush is here, Kurush, should we just tell them now only?
Let's play it by ear.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Let's give them a little more suspense.
Okay, so there was I was just speaking to your sister Huzan, and she's like many other people have been telling me all these years, why don't you write your story? Why don't you just put it down on paper? But I don't know, I've been procrastinating, lazy, whatever you want to call it. I would start and then get so tired of it and then just leave it. So I've written a lot, but I've just left it.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those writings. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
And then, you were in Pune with your
Yeah.
uncle, my cousin. And
Yeah.
What
so
happened?
Basically, it was COVID time. And Huzan had told me, I've been telling, a lot of people have been telling Gulshan that write a book, it's such an amazing, rich life story. So she said, will you do it? I said, Gulshan hasn't spoken to me. So should I approach? Should she? And luckily, a video call happened. I think we were doing a lot of video calls those days, a lot. And you had called. And I was standing behind Kayu and Shanaz. And you said, Kurush, has Huzan spoken to you? I said, yeah. So I said, I'll get back to Bombay and connect. And I think for a couple of months, we let it go because I didn't know, I got into the why me stage, which I'll tell you later about. Yeah.
So I didn't know. I mean, yeah, when we traveled for a family reunion to Kashmir, that was the first time you revealed that you're a poet. And you read us these amazing poems, under the tree. And it was such an enriching experience
Honestly, I
to hear.
myself didn't know until you all got me to read them. I'd never read them. So for the first time, they were going out of my head. And I realized, okay, man, I can write, maybe. Yeah.
So, and that's when it happened that I asked you, Kurush, would you write my story? Because I knew for sure that you can write.
Oh, I didn't know this. Good. Thank you for revealing it today.
I
Yeah,
knew for
yeah.
sure that you can write. So I just said, Kurush, would you write my story? And you agreed?
Yeah. First, I was a little apprehensive because I said I've never written about anyone. All my characters are my own, fictional. So I said, yeah, I can make Gulshan Kavrana a partly fictional character. But I said, when I started hearing your story, I said, oh my God, this is such a rich life. Can I do justice? So I did feel that for a bit. But then I said, let's just dive head in on our Friday conversations. Yeah.
So I work with Abdullah Lutfi 4 days a week. And I'm off on Fridays because he chooses not to work on a Friday. So that was why Friday was our day.
Correct.
When we, just spoke to each other.
Yeah.
And you didn't even record what I was saying.
Yeah. I wrote
You
down.
were writing it all
Yeah,
down.
because I wanted to get it with my own writing. And so I told Gulshan, I said, okay, let's try. I said, this is a lot of information. Gulshan, can you structure it for the next time? And you said, no, Kurush, I will talk. I said, but this was the best part because had I asked you to structure it, and that was learning for me, it would have been very schooled. So you gave me information, and after which we started.
I mean, we were,
yeah.
I know, sorry. There was no timeline. I was just flipping from one story to
Yeah, yeah.
another. And you would say, but when did this happen?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm so confused. What?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I was going.
No, but that was good because it was natural and organic. And I had to call you back when I was writing. I said, is this now or is this later? And then I'd call her. But it was an amazing experience. First for me to write like that. Yeah.
And then, the first few pages you said, can you please read it? And I said, it's really hard for me to
Yeah.
read my own story. I did start. And then I said, I can't do it.
Then I said, I understood that. I said, then I stopped pushing you to do that. I said, we'll figure it out. Let's just let it go. Let it flow.
And,
Yeah.
there are, of course, so many people have come in my life. So many.
Yeah.
Of course, we couldn't mention them all.
Correct.
Though I would have loved to. I just want to say if your name is not in the book, it doesn't mean I don't love you or you've not supported me. You know who you are and, each and every one of you who has been part of my life and still is, you'll all mean a lot to me. So Kurush has chosen not to write your name. It's him. Huh?
In fact, honestly, I started feeling personally responsible for the people I didn't know. I said, she knows so many people. Have we written about everybody? Have we done justice? Then I said,
You know what?
let's just do it. Yeah.
So I have read a few pages of the book. I still haven't read it. Now, finally, we got 3 books printed. And
It will be published on the international platform of Amazon.com, Amazon.in, that's India, select bookstores in India. We'll try and put it up for an international book fair too, which I'm kind of talking about. Ingram is another platform. So yeah, people all over the world should have access to it. And why I felt so, because earlier we were looking to do it privately, if you remember.
Yeah.
But somewhere, let me say this that I've not told you. Okay, this is about the title of the book. I said, what do we write? She's got SFS, she's got Mawaheb, she's got Abdullah, she's got all these people and all these things that she's
and
doing.
Zara.
And Zara, sorry. I mean, so many, sorry about that, yeah. And I said, should we call the book, Zara? Then I said, it's also about Gulshan's journey. And she kept, there was this, can I say this?
Yeah.
You had this angst with God, and I saw some of the letters you wrote to him.
But that was in the beginning.
Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah.
So then it was why me? God, why me was the question you often asked. And then you moved into the why not me, semi-acceptance phase and acceptance. And then you realize this is your destiny with all of that. Thank God me. So I thought that would be the apt sort of flow for the book also. Even the book kind of flows like that. I'm giving you a hint. So it starts with the why me, why not me, thank God me. So one is definitely, I got to know a lot about the special needs community, yeah, and you championing this cause. But while I was writing the book, I also realized that there are so many of us, almost 99% of this world at some point is going through why me. Yeah. And most of us don't move to why not me. Even I was almost not going to move to why not me. I got, you get overwhelmed. So I said, okay, why me? Why should I write Gulshan's book? Then I said, why not me? And today we are sitting here.
And thank God.
Thank God me. Thank God me. That's a good one. So had you not done that, this would not have happened. And I know so many people who are on the cusp of this, and they're very talented, brilliant individuals who, even for the work that I do, are unable to move to why not me. I thought it'll open out a whole new chapter for them. And they also get to know of this special needs world. And also, now today I'll tell you the other reason why I actually wrote this book. So we have this, when people say idea, we always think of an idea as something novel. When someone says you have an idea, it's always brainchild. It's something very positive. But there's also the truth of an idea is it's a school, it's taught to you. When you don't live and you're thinking that you live, because ideas associated with thinking. And one of the ideas is the idea of normal. This is the biggest thing for me, that who are we to think that we are normal?
Exactly.
So this idea of normal, breeds another idea, the idea of success. I'm choosing this word very carefully for everyone out there because it's an idea, it's not success. This idea of alpha success, what does it mean? Strongest, best, discriminatory.
And more
money.
Whoever's making money.
Exactly. That's basic. I was just going to say that. We sort of gloss over it and say, oh, success means this or that. Take 2 artists. One, they could be equally talented, but the one who's making more money is considered more successful. So it's basically discriminatory. It gives rise to rich versus poor, everything, normal versus not normal. And that's when I started realizing slightly that we're quite smug. We think we're normal, but it's just, this is creation. So this is where I think you can do a great job, because if we can look to sort of get back to the original idea of success, which is not this crazy idea that, even in Bombay, Dubai, all the cities I see, every morning people standing in these invisible lines of rat races. Everyone's running like a rat, human rats, top dog. If we can get rid of that, there can be a lot of inclusion. Otherwise, what happens is it'll be normalism versus special needsism, poverty versus rich. We will never get over that.
But that is where the people with disabilities are. They are in the now.
Yes.
They are not in any rat race.
Exactly.
They are not bothered about the past. It's finished for them.
Yes.
They don't care so much about the future. They live in the now, and that's what we have to learn.
So when I was writing this, I thought I'll share it with you on one of our calls, but we were too busy doing the book, so it sort of moved away, and I'll tell you today, and I can tell everybody else. I see that someone like you can actually change this definition of success in your own way. Because if you can do that, tomorrow, when I look at it in a larger way, where countries can make special needs as special policies for special needs. And if there is no inclusion, because even the politicians, ministers, dare I say, everyone is in the at some point in the rat race, then there will always be discrimination. But if we can go 2 levels higher and actually tone down success, not just special needs definitely, but everything else, rich, poverty, everything will become more equal, and we will actually be in success, not the idea. So I want to tell a lot of young people, I know ideas sound great, but ideas are basically beliefs. In one context it works, but this is something which has been an awakening for me in the last couple of years. Because even I used to think my ideas are great. It's related to the ego.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that.
Exactly. And I didn't know how to, for a while I actually didn't know how to live without an idea. Because I realized everything I know is an idea. Without that, I feel very powerless.
Which has been inspired by something. We feel, oh my God, this is me. I'm the most creative person.
Mm-hmm.
But no, at the back of your mind, back of the head, you've seen it somewhere, you've heard someone speaking about it, then you've put it together and made it yours. But it's not.
No.
There's
exactly.
nothing.
I realized that about a lot of things I did, about the training, the coaching. It is somebody else's idea. We know how to creatively or beautifully recycle it. And when I started realizing this naked kind of truth, then I said, oh my God, it's difficult to hustle. Now what do you do? So I'm in that in-between zone. Yeah.
But Kurush, I don't think you had dealt with too many people with disabilities.
No, I hadn't.
I mean, we've always had Zara. You've had Zara in your life. But I know there was apprehension. What do I do with her?
Yes.
I go say hello to her and then leave. And bus, that was enough.
Yes.
So has writing this story changed your perspective now about people with disabilities?
100%. And I've even met so many of them now, just as of yesterday and day before. Now I understand the spectrum. For us earlier, it was a very, unfortunate to say, sometimes when it's not your world, so to speak, but this is a very shameful thing to say because everything is our world. Everything is.
And they're part of our world.
Yeah. This is why I say this definition of normal that's gone in so deep needs to change. It takes a while. That is why I'm saying you can do that. If you do that, miracles will happen. And I can see you do that.
It will happen through the book.
Through the book, 100%. Yes, it definitely has changed because now I've understood it's not just one kind of thing. There are so many at so many different levels. Yeah, for sure.
I think you've done justice. I know I've read only 10 chapters, sorry.
I think so too, I hope. Because you only read 10 chapters. So I'll take the...
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's fine. I was struggling to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's a lot about the past.
Yeah.
And then I'm reliving the past.
Correct.
And that was not the happiest time of my life.
No, I understood that. Hence, I didn't push it. Yeah.
So, going back all the time to those moments, it was hard. It's not been, everyone says, oh, you're so strong, you're so this, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was in that, why me?
Yes.
I don't want this situation,
Totally.
And many times I would hold Zara in my arms and say, Zara, if you want to go, it's okay. Yeah. And so when I talk to new parents and they say, you don't understand, I'm a really horrible mom. And I say, what, you've asked your child to, go?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, how did you know? I said, because each and every one at some point has said this. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. We are human beings, we are vulnerable, we are going through trauma.
Correct.
And grief. We are all grieving. Some people grieve in different ways,
Correct.
and allow yourself to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't always be where you are.
Correct.
And you will come to this why not me stage, And the why not me came when I shoved this cushion on my face and I was crying in the night because I didn't want to wake my husband and my older daughter Janaya up or my helper in the house. I did it very regularly. I used to just put a cushion on my face and cry.
Really?
And I said, and this voice came in my head and said, really? Why not you? And I said, okay, so why not me? Who would be a better mother to Zara than me? So I went through everybody,
So did you went through guilt also, like what?
Of course, yeah. Lot of guilt.
Yeah.
I still
I
have
know.
guilt.
I read
Guilt
all
comes
of that.
and goes, yeah.
Even
Guilt
now,
is,
yeah.
it's still there.
Mm.
So, I said, would my sister be? No, she would completely break down. Would my cousin be this one? No, I went through everyone who was in my life at that time.
Who could be more capable, you
Who
felt?
would be, yeah.
Or the right fit.
And
or
then
whatever.
I said, you know what? No, it's me. So that's why it's me. And then after that, when the support group formed and everything happened, and I could see that mothers were being empowered, then the dads became empowered.
Correct.
The siblings. I said, okay, so thank God it's me,
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm showing off
No,
that
I know that.
But it really helped me on this journey.
And, I was remembering a slightly funny moment from this where people thought you didn't have a daughter with special needs. And you were just and they said, how would you know?
Yeah.
I found that.
And they would say, you are not in our situation. Because there were men in those days, Zara had 10 to 15 seizures a day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the days were like almost every day or every alternate
Correct.
day. So, of course, there were days when I couldn't take Zara.
Yeah.
And I had an amazing support system with Zahir and Janai, So they would be at home.
Correct.
And they would just tell me, you go. SFS needs you, you go. So I would be there with SFS, with all these other families. Back of my head, oh my God, what's happening with Zara? Is she okay? And, mobile phones were there, but it didn't really always work. And
You're talking early 2000. Yeah.
So it was difficult to even connect. And I would go to a public call and say, is she fine? They'd say, yeah, she's fine. You just stay there, And that is how it was in those days. So Zara was not with me most of the time. And they would say, what is it to you? You don't have to go home to this. I said, but I do. And then when I, explained to them, I go home to 10 to 15 seizures a day. I go home to a absolutely dark house where we can't turn on any light because of...
Yeah. We've written about,
Yeah. So, and that's when they understood, and then
it must have really changed the whole situation.
And the way they all were listening to me, And not that I have some great knowledge or anything. I was just sharing my journey with them.
But what I liked about the support group is it started very organically to sort of just help each other in a certain way.
Help me.
Help you. Okay. Yeah. Help you. Yeah. Correct. That's right. That's the first stage. Then they got helped as a byproduct, but it eventually became a larger group. And not just that, there are so many aspects which I didn't realize. There's a raising of capital and so many things that you can do only when you have support. You are a group.
So we don't raise capital. We don't fundraise at all.
Yeah.
We just rely on the goodness of the community.
Yeah.
So I have to say that yesterday SFS celebrated 25 years of being, existing in Dubai, in UAE. And my whole family flew down for it, which was like the biggest honor for me. Thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. My pleasure. Our pleasure, actually. I say it on behalf of all of us.
It was amazing.
Absolutely.
And first time you actually got to see what the support group means to everybody.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
It was amazing.
Definitely, yes. It was a absolutely brilliant event. Yes.
I mean, there were, I don't even know how many people with people of determination yesterday. But it didn't feel like that, right?
Yeah.
It just felt like everyone's just having fun.
This term, a lot of other countries need to know, because even in India, we don't know. I said people of determination. You'd imagine determined people. Then I realized actually it's so apt. It's a UAE term, right?
It's a UAE.
Yes.
Sheikh Mohammed,
Correct. I think it's very good. It's very dignified. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when I speak to them, that are you all happy with this new term, and they love it. They say, yeah, we are determined to make the world a better place, and which they do.
Yeah.
Because
the first time you told me, it took me 2 minutes to understand why this. Then I realized when, the whole thing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, because differently abled, differently challenged, come on.
Then I learned the other two words from you, which were neurodivergent.
Neurodivergent and neurotypical.
Neurotypical, yes.
I mean, if you want to sound like...
No, but it's a lovely word because then it talks more scientific about the pathways. Yeah.
But I don't know anybody in this world who's not neurodivergent. Everybody has some peculiarities and, you see them and then, yeah. I have it, you have it, we all have it.
It's
Everybody
like
has
there's this saying, na, in a room full of sane people or mad people, everyone thinks that the room is dangerously sane. That kind of thing, Yeah.
But it's just been such a pleasure to share my story. Kurush,
Yes.
can you just show the...
Sure. So this is going to be out probably early 2025. That's what we're looking at. So this is the book. Why me? Why not me? Thank God me. Gulshan's story. Put it together. Please read it. Please go out there, buy it. I've given you all the platforms. And also, I'm sorry, this is not a promotion, but I'll still say it. Give us a good review and all of that. And write into her. You've got her email. You've got, we've written about a podcast at the end. Please, talk to her. All of you, even people who are not connected with the special needs community. If you just need inspiration, she's great at that. In fact, when I started writing it, I thought I was writing a book of, your life story, but I realized this can actually be a book on motivation. It can really, really help people who are looking for a purpose, who are looking, and most of us are pretty lost at some stage. No one admits it. We're all walking around like these huge human rats. Yeah. And so, yes, actually there is no such thing as purpose, but because life is the purpose. So,
I know, but we all come down to learn lessons.
Yes.
To improve ourselves.
Correct.
And however you do it, it doesn't have to be only in this field or in this line. However you choose to, it's wonderful that you find something.
Correct.
This is what I want to do. So in Hindi we say, मुझे किनारा मिल गया. I was floating. And now I've found the shore. And that's where I want to be. I've docked. I've thrown the anchor. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's such a beautiful world.
Yeah.
And we keep thinking that people of determination need to be saved and brought into our world, but that's humbug.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The idea of normal needs to change, because I'm very sorry to say this, but I myself didn't know this. Because we are so schooled that we are normal, and everything else around us, which is not like us, even other human beings, could be from a different strata of society, class, wealth, is not normal. I didn't realize how deep society does this to us, and that needs to change in every way.
Kurush, would you like to read something? I know you've not marked it.
Yeah, no, I'll read. I'll just read I'll read a bit of the first chapter, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, so reading glasses on. Wow, the world looks better. Okay. Chapter prelude. Okay, chapter 1 is called Thin Long Fingers. It's about, you know what I'm talking about. So my husband Zahir and I would finally be together under one roof. I could not believe this was happening. Zahir is a maritime engineer, and we had spent several years apart after our marriage. So this was when you were just... The joy of having our first daughter, Jinai, in 1989 was dampened when Zahir had to sail away soon after. I missed him terribly in those years. He finally landed a job at the dry docks in Dubai, and we moved here in 1997. The same year, I was going to become a mother again. The year 1997, in more ways than one, had all the makings of a truly milestone here. Yeah? So I would like to read further. You want me to read a little more? Or I'd like you to actually buy the book and read. Yeah? So I'll just give you a little glimpse into, there are a lot of other chapters. Chapter 8 is Don't Turn on the Lights. It talks about the challenges of photosensitivity when she was actually going out all day to go back home to seizures. And I remember you telling me that you had one of the best views of Dubai and you could not open your blinds. Yeah. Your blinds were perpetually shut. So there were a lot of challenges. Okay. Let me just kind of, so then there's another chapter about your sibling, Roxanne, which is, I know what you're going through. Yeah. It was a very hard time for you because you believe that nobody really knew what you were going through.
Exactly.
But today you're in gratitude that people are there. So there is a lot about her life. There's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot about the special needs support group. There is Mawahib and a lot more. Okay, guys, this is the book.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kurush, for being here and for writing my book.
Oh.
I don't know how to thank you.
Yes. You're welcome. I hope I've done justice. We've put in our heart into this. So
Exactly.
I think you'd love it. You'll see the heart in it. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're most welcome.
And wishing you all the successes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the podcast is not over because I have my cousins Freny and Shenny coming in next. And they're going to talk to us about when they edited the book, what was their experience? Because they edited it.
Yeah. They did the first round of editing before we went into the publisher. So, but it really, really helped us to streamline because other than that, other than me, I'd like to say Gulshan, but other than me, no one had read the book. Yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a
much,
lot.
Kurush.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. So, like I was saying, I have my cousin Freny with me and Shenny. We just call you Shenny. Yeah. And totally an honor to have you both.
Thank you,
Because
Gulshan.
of
It's
all
an
the-
honor to be here.
It's an honor to
Truly.
be here.
You know, the work that you do as well, we'll talk about it a little later. And, you know, when Kurush wrote the book and he said, we need someone to edit. And both of us couldn't think of better people than the two of you. First of all, you all know, Freny, we've grown up together.
Absolutely.
You
From when we
know-
were knee-high.
Yeah. I mean, as a baby, I came into your house. I was born in
absolutely.
Lucknow.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And, yeah, you
We say cousins, but actually it's much more.
Much, much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always looked at you as an older sister. And, you know, I know you all have always said that I was cranky and irritable and
Headstrong.
Headstrong.
I did what I wanted.
Headstrong from the very beginning.
Means in a good way or bad way?
Good way.
Good
Good
way.
way.
Okay.
You have achieved all of this because you're headstrong. Headstrong people are very determined. Nothing stops them. Right? And so despite all of your very, very, very painful years, this is where you've got to. And part of it is because you've always had determination, and that comes from being, I am headstrong. I can and I will.
And I must.
Yes.
Okay, let me just go back. When you found out, both of you, when you all found out that Zara's going to be disabled, and yeah, first it was just that she has epilepsy. That came as a big shock in our family. And then now she's regressed and she's stopped talking. What did you feel at that time? Do you remember?
You know, Gulshan, we came to Dubai and visited you, and Zara was then about, I'm trying to think how old she must have
When
been.
Vanessa was there,
Maybe
3, 5.
3, 4, 5.
3,
yeah,
4,
that,
5,
yeah. She was
something.
not photosensitive that
She
day?
was
She was
very
photosen-
photosensitive.
very
Everything was dark in
photosensitive.
the house. And it's like we walked into your house and your life and the difficulties of it and the pain of it opened up to me, you know.
But I didn't say that I'm
No,
going through
absolutely not. It was what I picked up, right? And at that time, you were doing a lot of, the Sai Baba and the prayers and everything. And as much as I was part of it, I also felt it's like I could see into the future, and I could see how difficult it was going to be for all of you, all 4 of you. But I don't know, I also felt as if something good will come from this, you know, and I don't mean it in an insensitive way, because I know the suffering Zara goes through, and because of Zara, how hard it is for you all even now, despite everything, despite all the acceptance and everything. There are things that are hard. You know, we work with animals. It's hard to see animals who are not, who are struggling.
And not communicating.
Exactly.
So you don't know where the
communicating.
pain is.
Exactly. I mean, animals are very helpless creatures, right? So, coming back to it, I just felt, I don't know, I think whether it was the atmosphere you created, you were making this ravo, we were sitting and praying, Mummy was there, who was a spiritual person, seeing Zara this way, seeing the house dark, but we were also going out, you know, we were also being in the sun. And I felt it's going to be a very difficult life, but somewhere there's going to be a lot of meaning in this. And I have not spent much time with Zara, and that's something I always feel. Even yesterday when I was sitting by her, I just sat by her because there's nothing here to, but it's like in the bottom of your heart, you always have this person in your heart who you're feeling protective about, who you're praying for, and who you just want their life to be as comfortable and as loved as possible. And in that, I just feel that you both are the best parents. And Jina is a great
Thank you.
sister.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, when they say that souls choose people, if Zara didn't choose you, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I used to question it many times. Why did you choose me?
Yeah. And I have to say, in helping Kurush, in editing the book, see, Gulshan, I know you so well. I know you almost as well as I know myself, right? We've grown up together. And yet it was, literally being able to live those stages of your life and understand them. That, this is how it was. This is how it, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Because as much as you say you understand, till you actually spend time in that situation, it's all a mental thing. One feels deep love and deep compassion, but to actually experience what is going on, because there was so much that you've expressed in that, and I just got to know your life in this period much better.
And thank you for doing the editing. Shenny, what is your, tell us.
I, oddly enough, every time I think of Zara, I think of my first, when I first saw her. And this was at your Bombay house. She was sitting at the window, the balcony window. And I think it was Rosie. I'm not sure who it was who was feeding her. And suddenly you called her. You said, Zara. And she turned around and gave the cutest, chubbiest smile ever. And that was that was just, I think,
Before
the first, no. It was even before the first seizure.
No, the first seizure was in Dubai. Then the second seizure was in Bombay.
So it was before that second seizure. And then, of course, when we came here, and again, my memory of her is this child who was playing cricket with Vanessa. And I remember Vanessa almost.
So Vanessa was your occupational therapist.
Yes, was the occupational therapist. And I thought that she was just so good. And the other thing I remember about that trip was that both Freny and I said, listen, let Zara sleep with us. Because, you guys at least get a few nights, we'll be fine. And so there was Zara lying between us, and suddenly she sat up in bed like this, and we said, okay, so now what? And
no, I remember I said, I'll go and wake up Gulshan. And then we said, no, let them rest. Let them rest. And we quietly put her down, and she just
went to sleep
came down.
But it was, so those few days are the days we really got to know her. Know her to whatever extent we could. And then, yes, over the years, we've seen her grow, and in an incredibly beautiful way. Maybe mentally she's regressed.
Or she's higher than us.
No, that's the thing. We don't know. The inside we don't know. But just seeing her when she was growing, when she was thin, and right now and the pictures of her are just exquisite. Somehow her, her beauty comes out the most in the photographs you, I think, really have taken of her.
And Janai, she takes the better pictures.
And I have to say, above all, you're absolutely, truly wonderful. I don't know in how many generations husband. Zahir, as Freny's mom would say, कि if you took a candle and looked, you still wouldn't find a more wonderful person.
Yeah. And the way he is with her, you know,
It's just fabulous.
it's never like, oh my God, now do I have to do this? It's never like that.
Never,
He
not
just does it
once.
because he wants to, you know.
He's a great dad.
I mean, now Zara only has seizures when she's asleep. So she's in her bed and she has a seizure. And, you know, we have to sit up with her. So I can't lift her anymore. I've become a bit weak. So Zahir does all the initial thing. Then once she settles down, it still takes about 3-4 hours to completely settle,
Quiet
you know.
down, yeah.
So initially he takes over and then I do the, you know, staying up with her. And we both still go to work. You know.
Yes.
The next morning we're both at work.
That's what's incredible.
And it is hard, but then we've just got so used to it. She can't help it. We can't help it. This is something we have to do. And we have to go through. And, you know, he'll stay up with her. And I tell him, you go, it's okay, I'm staying now, you go and sleep. And he says, no, it's fine. But, you know, he's dealing in numbers and with millions of dollars. He can't mess up.
Yes.
For me, I work with Abdullah who understands. When I tell him, Abdullah, it was a seizure night, I'm coming in a bit late, you know, he says
knows.
it's fine, you know, because he knows it's really hard for me to again. And then he says, why are you so grumpy? Was it a seizure night? You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, he gets it.
Yeah.
And it is still a struggle. I'm not saying our life is just so easy.
Absolutely.
But she makes our life so easy because she doesn't demand our time, you know.
No.
And what I have just understood is if we keep her comfortable, we keep her clean, we keep her fed, we give her a routine, you know, she's fine. She doesn't need more.
Yeah.
You know, taking her here and there. And in the beginning, we took her for our very close friends' weddings. But all we did was sit with her in the room at 9 o'clock when
Right.
everybody was partying.
Right.
Right.
And then she's having a seizure because the
Yeah.
music is. I said, why are we doing this to
Yes,
her? You know, for who? Who are we doing this? She's not
Absolutely.
enjoying this at
No.
all.
No.
So now, even if we take her out, we see to it that we send her back early.
Yeah.
So she can get her full night's sleep, you know, because it's not fair.
You know, I also think after yesterday, when you celebrated 25 years of SFS, I have a deep, deep regret that one never came to your art studio. Because a lot of the creativity that we see, Abdullah and Victor, who had been there, and look at the women are, for me, more amazing than a lot of the men. The sheer confidence. I mean, they go up to Boman and say, oh, hello, and I want a picture, and I want this, and will you sign this, and I want, okay.
And a lot of us can't do it.
A lot of
Yeah.
us can't
in our
do it. We
supposedly
hold
normal
back.
world.
Yeah.
We hold back. It won't look. How can you?
They will not miss, you know, so people with determination, we are talking about them.
Yes, people would.
They will not miss an opportunity. They've learned. I think even from me, because once it's gone, okay, you didn't say hello or you didn't grab the opportunity. It's wasted. And I do not waste opportunities.
No.
I've learned. They're not coming back in our life. So if you want something, go get it.
Go get
you know?
I mean, actually, the mask is off. All of us in our lives put
Supposed-
on these masks.
Yeah.
And what is our endeavor? Our endeavor is to try and be as true to ourselves as possible and they are born with it or develop it later as however it happens. But it's like there's no mask, you know.
And there's no
what
judgment.
you see is
There's
what
no
you
judgment. There's no judgment.
They all accept you the way you are.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care whether I came in an Uber or I was dropped off in a van or I was dropped off in a Rolls Royce, or it doesn't matter
Doesn't
to
matter
them.
to them.
The
Yeah.
thing that matters is I was there.
Yeah.
You know, what I was wearing, nobody cares. Nothing. They just don't care about that. What they want is to see you and to see your spirit, and they look straight into your spirit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sometimes when Zara looks at you, she'll give you a stare, and she holds that stare for some time. It's like, okay, Zara, you're looking into my soul. You know, it's like a soul to soul connection.
Yes. Yes.
And it's deep. And she's like, and I said, I don't understand what you're trying to say to me, but is there something you want to? But there's no way of finding out, you know. And that's like a big struggle. Like after a seizure, when I've
Yeah.
spoken to people, you know, neurotypical people who have seizures, and I ask them, what has been your experience? What do you feel? And they say it felt like we ran a marathon twice in a single day, a full marathon. So you can imagine the pain. Now she's in that pain, but she can't communicate. You know, it's so hard.
Does she express? Does she express things that, for instance, is there a food kind of thing that she likes or doesn't like?
So she likes our Parsi food, the dhan saag and the curry. She loves it, and she likes it a bit spicy.
So she knows that. I mean,
I don't know. She
knows
comes
that-
forward to open
She
her
comes
mouth.
forward, right?
So
yeah,
she does.
That's what.
But if you take her to a food court and offer her anything, what do you call it? Junk food. She will not eat in a food court. I think the smells are too much, or I don't know what it is. But she will just like, no way am I going to touch this food.
Yeah.
She's never
Yeah.
eaten a pizza in her life. Never. I've offered many times. Never had, and I'm glad.
yeah,
You know, never eaten a burger, ever. You know, even the patty, if I just
Yeah.
take it out, no, I will not touch it. This is crappy food. I'm not going to eat it.
Yep.
So her wants are really, she's not very fond of any drinks, juices and all that. She's not a big fan. She likes her water. And her tastes are so simple. Her needs are so simple.
right.
You know,
right. Yeah.
if we just take care, they keep saying, but, and then we have our wonderful Saraswati,
Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
I was
Yes.
just thinking of her.
you know,
Yes, absolutely.
keeps to her you know, her routine, and it's just so easy. And yeah, we are privileged. I have full-time help. I know so many parents who are doing this for years, and they are the sole caretakers.
Yeah.
You know, they have no social life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
of course.
I am privileged, and I do thank, and I am grateful.
Yeah.
And every day we wake up, which was where she didn't have a seizure, I said, thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
Of
Yeah.
course.
before I go
Of
to sleep, I
course.
said, please just let her be. Tonight, let her be. Just let
Yeah.
her rest,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first 2 years, she didn't sleep at all. You know, the seizures were just, I think, happening. And it was hard.
Yeah, of
Those
course.
years was
Absolutely, absolutely. And that must be acknowledged, because if that's not, you know, for someone who's just started out in the life, so to say.
Yeah, you can't
if
tell
you
them
say,
it's not.
you know, accept. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's like when Sujit spoke about his struggle.
Yeah.
I mean,
So we've done a podcast with Sujit,
yes.
and you know he's in a
Yes.
wheelchair, and he had an
Amazing.
accident at the age of 19. Yeah, it's. We think that he's so strong and he's so this and he, but it's taken him
all this
all
time.
this,
Yeah.
putting in this determination. I am going to do it,
Yeah.
and then not only himself, he's inspiring so many people.
People. Absolutely.
And Zara does it without saying a word.
And really, if we look at it philosophically, as hard as it is, to understand, Gulshan, this has completely changed your life. You've spoken about it so often, right? That you were never a party person, never. But still, I mean, there was the usual thing of life, and then nature hands you this, in terms of your purpose of life. It's
Your challenge.
it's what has made life so very meaningful for you, and through you for hundreds and thousands of
Thousands of
others.
others.
What more can one ask of life? What
Yeah.
more can one? As difficult as it is, Gulshan, I keep punctuating with that. Not a minute does one forget how difficult it is for you and Zahir and Jinai at some point. But what one saw yesterday was just
It
pure
was
joy.
Sheer joy.
And I know that
Sheer
even
joy.
even to reach the joy is commitment, dedication, struggle, understanding. But it was pure joy. It was pure joy. I mean, to just see all of us there, and to what we say, this normal and not normal, and all the crap that we surround
Didn't
ourselves
feel
with.
like
It
that,
didn't
right?
feel like that at
Everybody
all.
was just there to
Everybody
have
was
fun.
normal, or everybody was a little not normal,
And everybody was
and
there
everybody
to have
was
fun.
having fun, and there was just love.
And there was so much love. Really, that was the overriding emotion. There was
And
so much
one
love.
felt like you didn't even have to talk to somebody. You could just look at them and do a,
Yeah.
and some you just talked to, and some you just wanted to hug, and some you just, wanted to say, hey.
And that is what SFS is.
Yeah.
And it's because of SFS, of course, and Zara, and all the people of determination who've been part of my life, I am where I am today. If I can speak publicly, which I love now you give me 5,000 people, I say,
Yeah, I'll speak.
and I would always, like, my knees would shake, and, I love doing it now.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I don't go and do some corporate events or something like that. I talk about if they want my journey, or I'm teaching people sign language. Two things I love to do.
Yeah.
I want the world to learn just one sign language. There are 400, but just learn one. So you can communicate
There are
with
400 sign
the 400
languages?
different
Yeah,
sign
they're
languages.
different.
Gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like if you have a deaf child and you are only speaking in Hindi,
Yeah.
and he has only learned
Right.
ASL, American Sign Language, how is he going to communicate? He'll be
course.
using English words,
Yeah.
but his mom is not going to understand anything. So then,
Right. That's
we
amazing.
need different languages.
Of course.
And dialects. And then even American Sign Language. So I practice with Victor, who was from Africa. So I
Right.
don't know if you saw it yesterday. The two boys who are there.
They
were
the two men
fantastic.
who are
Yeah.
Zia and Ashar. And they were telling
It
me
was
that's not
wonderful
Pakistan.
seeing them communicate. Yeah.
But I didn't feel that they were deaf. And nor did I feel, I could understand pretty much of what they were
No,
saying.
because they speak.
Yeah.
They lip read and they
They
speak
lip
as
read,
well.
but they
Yeah.
were amazing. The two men, the boys, men, were
Men,
just
they're married men.
Oh, lovely, lovely. And again, full of energy, and they were great dancers.
And their wives.
And their wives.
And they're all earning members. They're bankers. They're doing so well.
They're doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need anybody's
No.
support
And
or backing. And
all this is happening because we are here in the UAE. There's
That's the
so
big thing.
much. I mean, we'd say inclusion,
yeah.
but it's not. It's equality. They're giving the same. They're not getting a lesser salary because they're deaf or they are in a
That's
wheelchair.
fantastic.
But
Equal.
how has UAE reached here so quickly?
Yes. I was
Because they constantly spoke to a lot of panel discussions with them, with parents, like
Right.
what are your needs?
Right.
What do you need? And when we speak, they listen,
That's amazing.
and it's amazing. And they really want to improve and improve. It's going to, the they're going to start with holiday, destination for people with disabilities to come to Dubai.
Wow.
So, I mean, it would be an amazing place. It is so accessible now.
I do remember when we'd come that time, and so we are talking, what, about 20 years ago? And we'd all gone out for dinner, and you blasted the restaurant because there wasn't a single ramp or anything for a wheelchair. And in all these days that we've been here, every single place, the road, any place is accessible
If it's not there,
to anybody.
they will hear from me.
And
Yeah, and I'm not doing it for Zara. It's
No,
so
it's for
easy to
everyone.
just carry her
Yeah.
or to carry the wheelchair up because she's not that heavy. But why should we?
Well, absolutely.
Just because she cannot ask.
Absolutely.
I'm not only asking for Zara, I'm asking for the whole community. So then I make sure that, it is made. And I go back to the restaurant and I say, still not done? When are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Let me speak to the owner. Let me speak to the manager. Someone has to speak up.
Even if you look at UNESCO World Heritage Sites, one of the really top rules are that it has to be
Accessible.
for everybody.
I mean,
Otherwise,
if they didn't do it, it would be truly
don't
shocking.
you don't get a World Heritage status. It's as simple
But India
as
is
that.
still very, very, very far behind.
Very far.
Very far behind.
But they are slowly getting there.
But
It's
you know
got
who's
better.
doing it? Parents.
Yes.
Parents are
Parent
now saying
pressure.
enough is enough.
It's
We're
enough.
not going to take
Yeah.
this. We want this. They're demanding it. So
Absolutely.
there are groups for autism, there are groups for Down syndrome. So they're not all coming together. That's fine as long as it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful,
Yeah.
And Freny, Shenny, you too have found your purpose. Please share a little bit about what you do because I think I've been inspired by, being so dedicated. And come what may, y'all don't compromise on what you do. So please share.
So both of us used to work in documentary films. And I remember very clearly the day I decided that I was not going to do this. I was walking on a riverbed in Kerala, and a British producer wanted something or said something to me, and I just said, enough. I can't do this anymore. And I came back and I told Shenny that it's over for me, this chapter of life. I think I've earned enough to,
Retire.
retire. And then we slowly got into working with animals, essentially dogs, but now we do quite a bit of cats also, and sometimes big animals. But so I've had this absolute fondness for animals from a very young age, and also one learnt a lot from Shenny's mother because I stayed with them, and Shenny's mother was a very, very, very
Hands-on
avid, hands-on
person.
animal person. And so we started by just starting with, of course, feeding around our blocks, so we would take these huge utensils and go feeding. And then we realized, my God, from the number grows from 20 to 100 in like 3 months. So we realized the need for sterilization. So we started with, tying up with people who we could do sterilizations with, because I have to say that the state does very little as yet in India, very little. And so it's really on NGOs and individuals to reduce the numbers, because there's a lot of good work with animals happening now in India. In fact, I would say it's almost become a movement. There's more awareness. But there are two things going on side by side. One is all the awareness and the good work that's happening, and the other is a huge amount of conflict, because India is a very, very over-congested area. So we are in Connaught Place, so it's it's an okay area, but around us are very low-income areas. So there are narrow streets. Dogs are living with humans. There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of cruelty. There's a lot of goodness as well, but there's a lot of cruelty as well.
Can you just say what the cruelty is, especially on Diwali? They tie crackers.
Oh,
Yeah. So Diwali, of course, is very difficult. This Diwali, we were out all night because before Diwali, we managed to get a person from Bombay who has made these collars for dogs with QR codes, so that at least if they get lost, someone can scan them, and the minute they scan, we get intimidated that your dog's been scanned, so we know exactly who's looking and where the dog is. So 3 of our dogs had run away, and we got these through QR codes, and so we were just going to different areas picking up our dogs, and it was so wonderful. They were so petrified. The minute they saw us, literally, they jumped into our arms, and got into the car. Dogs who otherwise don't get into cars and are scared that you're taking them to the hospital or to the vet. They were just trembling, And so we sat with them and we would calm them down and bring them back to their spots. And just that night of getting our 3 dogs back was so important, because from that time, thousands of messages were going on. Lost this dog, this one's gone, that one's gone. And it's such a task for us because our dogs go into different territories. Dogs from different territories come into our areas, and then just to get them to all, because they're already in trauma, and then getting them to adjust to the older dogs there, it takes us 3 to 4 months to work on this after every Diwali. And this time the appeals were incessant. And there was a ban by the Supreme Court on crackers, but we had one of the loudest Diwalis we've ever had.
Horrible.
But other than that, I know there are a lot of people we work with who are rickshawalas, ice cream walas, gin vendors, and they're all very, very, they love animals and they look after them and work with them. And in their areas, because people sometimes tend to throw acid. We've just got 3 acid cases, right? And so they say to them that, okay, if the dog is sitting in front of your house, just throw water, it'll run away. Don't put acid. So at that level, you have to deal with people. And as I keep saying, you have to work at awareness. Actually, the other thing we would love to do, but somehow are not finding time for it, is to go to schools, especially the municipal schools, private schools, any schools, because kids are so open to, listening
and learning.
Listening and learning. And I just feel that, you get 5 kids and you've got 50 of that whole group, And so it's so important, because the minute kids get aware of something, they really get, there were schools that were working with no firecrackers. And I remember my nephew, Rehan, he had come home, and at that time we said, okay, we'll just do 2 puljaris. And he said, no, puljaris are really harmful. Please don't do it. And he was some 5-6 years old. So clearly his school had worked with that. So, yeah,
just while we are talking, this image is coming in my mind that we should get a nice, sweet, illustrated book. Because they talk about pedigree dogs being so sweet. No one talks about the Indies.
Yeah.
No.
That they are also loving unconditionally.
Yeah.
They are also need unconditional
and
love.
far tougher constitutionally.
Yeah. And
our Indies,
let's
we
talk
call
about
them,
Indies.
and our Indies, we call them community dogs, because actually they are part of the community.
Exactly.
That it is their area as well. We say animal welfare. Actually, it's not animal welfare. It should be animal rights. They have rights as well.
Yeah.
They are a species on this earth as well, not
That
dogs.
street belongs
animal
to them.
species.
It's there.
Exactly. They are our community dogs, and you can. I'll tell you, so many people who come from the West, they're so envious of us. They say, oh gosh, this is fantastic, because we, in our block only, we have these nice, fat, roly-polies who look adorable. I know there's, I'm painting a rosy picture here, but because they are so close to us, they get fed adequately, they get enough love.
They have their
and
own
they're having a
mattresses.
great life because it's an open life. They're not in shelters, they're not in cages, they're not in, closed environments, and that's what they
And
want.
they are
They
not
want
there to
food.
attack and bite you because
Not
everyone
at
thinks,
all.
oh my God, these
Not
dogs.
at all.
They don't unless you first take the
Instigate.
step.
And
Yeah.
Gulshan, you won't believe it. Even now, when we go even to the far-flung areas or old dogs, first it is, I want love from you. Only after that they want food.
Oh.
Always first is
whenever
love,
we go
love.
visit our dogs, first pyar, nothing else. Then acha, you can give us something too. But first they have to go all over us. That's the most important thing.
So I'm going to end on this, and I'm so grateful that we both found our purposes. You both have found yours, I have found mine, and it's so grateful. And we both work with silent, unconditional love. You know?
Yes. And thank you, Gulshan, because you've been a tremendous support to us. A lot of your friends...
I would love to do more.
No, please, we need to do more. But really, you've been a great support, and your friends have as well. So a big thank you to them too.
Thank you
very
Thank
much
you so
for
much
having
for
us.
being here. Thank you.
Thanks,
And for being
Gulshan.
in my life.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Gulshan.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed this show, and I think everyone needs to subscribe. I've been asked by my colleague Zara to say, please subscribe. Thank you.